Hello, everybody. Welcome to week number 1 of On the Mat, Off the Mat yoga series for the winter. I am so happy that you all have decided to say yes and carved out the time for this experience and this journey. We have 11 weeks together. These, like I just mentioned to some of the people here live, these classes will be recorded each Wednesday live on Zoom. You are welcome to come live on Zoom, or you can watch the replay, and you can watch the replay as many times as you want. So you can always go back and watch other weeks. This will be emailed to everybody either right after this or within 24 hours, usually the same day. So, welcome again. I'm going to share that I know some people are a bit newer to yoga here, and some people, and this is Lava. She will be joining us. Hopefully not doing her. She's a happy crier when she has her favorite toy in her mouth. But you'll see her each week. And I want to just remind people and introduce this idea to people that I want you to make this practice your own. Hey, love. I want you to make this practice your own in terms of modifying. One sec. Hey, come on over here. Come on down. In terms of modifying any of the postures, knees can come down. You can rest in child's pose. If your body is feeling really strong physically with these postures and you want to amp it up, you know how to do that already. If you've been coming to these series and have a yoga practice already, feel free to amp it up however it works for you. One of the things that I always want to reiterate is that yoga, yes, we're going to stretch our bodies, we're going to strengthen our bodies, we're going to feel good in our physical bodies. However, the true practice of yoga is much more so about noticing what are called the vrittis. The vrittis are the fluctuations in our mind. And our mind tends to be moving to the past and to the future, and it judges ourselves way too often, right? And so as we use these 45 minutes each week, I'm inviting us to have the practice of yoga be to notice those fluctuations of our mind and not attach to them, but rather let it remind you to notice your breath. I'm going to say that again. So important to notice the fluctuations of the mind, and rather than attaching to that thought and identifying with that thought that's not real, because it's not right now, to let it remind you in that moment to not attach and come to your breath. The breath will always be a tool to bring you into this moment. So let's go ahead all together. Let's close our eyes for a moment. Tall spine. So whether you're seated on a chair or the floor, cross-legged or on your knees, tall spine. Inhale fully through your nose, full lower abdominal breath. And let's exhale out through your mouth. And again, inhale fully through your nose, filling up the lowest part of your lungs. Exhale out through your mouth. One more together like that as a collective. Exhale. Beautiful. And then we can come together again, opening your eyes already. Just notice for yourself what has shifted. Even with that wasn't even probably a full minute of our time, right? And we shifted so much just by mindfully breathing and letting go. So that is yoga. Yoga is noticing the fluctuations, controlling them so that we can be in the moment. One more thing I want to say before we begin is when we are on the mat, I'm going to say this a few times, but we want our fingers to be spread. So I will say this again once we're on the mat, but fingers spread, pressing down with thumb and index finger. So go ahead and bring your palms to the mat right now, palms flat on your mat, and I want you to root down with these two fingers. Press down. The more you do that, the less pressure is on your wrist. So especially for those of you that are new, we're building muscle memory here. Okay? All right, another breath in, letting it out. We're gonna take our journal and a writing utensil. If you don't have it, if you can grab that quickly, or just know that you can come back to that at any time. The journal practice in our series is just gonna be like 1 minute, maybe 2. And it's really just a way for you to jot down pen to paper the intention and the theme that you would love to bring with you throughout the week. I will offer intentions each week, and you can choose to write that down, or if there's other things that come up, and then you can come back to it throughout the day, the week. If you don't come back to it in your journal, there's no shame or guilt. That's all good too. But it's just a nice way to bring pen to paper. So the theme today, there's so many things it could be, but the theme today, I would love for us to give ourselves permission to notice what feels good. We all too often focus on what's lacking, what isn't enough, what aches and pains we have, how our body isn't perfect. And I would love for right now for us to take pen to paper, what either in your physical body or in your life feels simple and good and at ease. The following 10 weeks, we're going to be diving into more yoga philosophy as our theme. This is to set it up. So go ahead and start that. I'm going to do a little serenade while you write. And again, just for about a minute, maybe 2. When you're finished, we'll place the pen, the journal off to the side. Let's go ahead and come onto our yoga mats. If you have music and you'd love for some music in the background, you can press play on that music now. We're going to come seated on our yoga mats. If sitting in a cross-legged position is comfortable for you, that's how I'm going to be, and that's how I'd love for you to start. You can always prop yourself up on a cushion under your bum or a blanket or a block. If that's not happening for you today, modify chair, knees as you need and want. Okay, so let's start with the palms face down on your thighs or your knees. And we're just going to start with some circles. Let's circle, just choose one direction. And I want you to remember the direction, that's because we're going to do the opposite in a moment. So choose the direction, and we're going to inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. We're going to keep this going probably about 5 or 6 more times, and I want you to get into the little kind of like the nooks and crannies of your rib cage that maybe you haven't touched yet, maybe into the shoulders and your neck and your jaw. Let the breath guide the movement so that inhale forward and around, exhale back, tuck your chin, and then one more inhale, heart open, exhale around and back. We're gonna come back through midline, back through center. Let's let the palms face up and keep the palms lifted off your knees. Tall spine, let's close our eyes for 3. Breaths in and out through your nose at this point. Crown of your head is rising. And then we'll place the palms back down on your knees or thighs and switch directions. So remembering which way you went first and go the opposite way now. Inhale forward, exhaling around and back. And again, doing this about 6 more times, really feeling like this motion is led by the breath, but also like you're unraveling any tension, not just from your spine, but energetically as well. From the chakras, unraveling and releasing. We'll take 2 more rounds, inhaling forward, open, exhale, round, and almost closing. Last one. And then we'll again come back through your midline, your center, palms facing up, closing your eyes. It's noticing, even here, maybe now noticing what feels good, what feels at ease. If your mind is instead trying to say, yeah, but your hips are this or your back is that, just notice the tendency of our thoughts and then come back to breath. We can open our eyes. We're going to start walking the hands forward and we're going to land in our tabletop position. So tabletop position, your knees are down, your hands are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. Charles is here in the house. He's never done this on all the series. He said he was leaving out the back door, but now he's leaving out the front door. Say hi.
Hi, everyone. Bye. Hello.
Okay. Symbols in the bag on his way to work. Okay. All right. So from there, fingers are spread. Remember that we did this thing. Fingers are spread, thumb pad, index finger. We're going to do a simple cat-cow. Inhale, heart forward, tailbone back. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck your chin. Keep it going a few more times. Inhale, exhale. Go 3 more like that. So the inhale draws your heart forward, tailbone back. Exhale, round, tuck your chin, press down with your shins. 2 more. And then on this exhale, we're going to bring the knees a little wider on your mat, and you're going to come down for a child's pose. So knees wider, hips towards your heels, forehead towards the ground. Some of you might touch your forehead onto the mat. Some of you have a forehead a little bit higher. You could always take a block under your head or a blanket. But honestly, the wider you bring your knees, the easier it is then to bring your chest and your forehead towards the mat. Let's stay here for 3. We're creating muscle memory. So fingers stay spread, elbows lift. You're engaging your shoulder blades down the back. One more breath into the sacrum, hip crease area. And then let's draw our way forward again, coming back into your tabletop position. So again, table, knees are under hips, hands are under shoulders. From here, we're going to tuck the toes. We're going to keep our knees bent. This is especially important to have your pressure under the thumb and the index finger for what we're going to do next. I want you to slide your shoulder blades down your back, and just for 3 breaths, I want you to lift your knees up off the mat for 3. For 2, if it's not feeling good in your body, feel free to modify. Knees can come back down. Last breath. And then knees softly come back down. And from here, we're going to walk the right toes back. Right toes back behind us. Straight leg, and just do some ankle circles. One direction. And then the opposite direction. We're going to come to the big toe side of that right foot. So the right foot comes down, the big toe edge. You're going to kickstand the left leg. So watch my bottom leg, kickstand it back, and then lift the right arm up. So we're coming into like a modified side plank. Again, you can always amp this up if that's in your practice. Let's reach the right arm away from you. So past your ear, and then the tendency will be to kind of hug forward. I want you to open any amount. It might even just be in your mind. Open your chest, reach, lift, and then we'll switch sides. Right hand down, right knee down. Bring the left leg back, tuck the toes, circling the ankle. We're lubricating the joints, opposite direction. And then from here, big toe side of your left foot comes down, right foot and lower leg kickstand behind you, left arm rises. Set yourself up here, fingers are spread on that bottom hand, and then extend the left arm long. We're opening here through your chest, lifting through the right side body. And then soften it down, both hands down, both knees down, some circles with the hips. And then we'll slide our way back again into a child's pose. So knees are wide, hips towards your heels, head towards the mat. Let's take 5 breaths. If you're new to this practice, allow yourself to be new. There is no need for judgment or thinking I'm not good at whatever. If those thoughts are if that mind stuff is trying to play tricks on you. We are just exploring, we're being curious with our bodies, and we're noticing the relationship of breath and body. Breath and body. We're going to rise back up again in our tabletop. If anybody has sensitive knees, also feel free to have a little cushion or blanket or towel under your knees. From here, fingers spread, slide your shoulder blades down, tuck your toes. We're going to lift for a downward facing dog. So I'm going to talk us through it. If you're used to it, go for it now. We're going to lift the knees up. And the biggest thing here is I want your chest and hips back. It doesn't matter if your knees are straight or not. I would rather your chest and hips back than having straight legs but your chest and hips forward. So keep your knees bent as much as it feels good for you. Chest back, hips back. We're here for 3. Can we find that steady rhythm of our breath for 2, for 1. And then from your downward dog, we're going to bring the right leg up. Any amount up, and then you're going to bring your right foot forward. So your right foot might stop halfway. If it comes all the way to the front, great. You're going to take that foot with your hand and place it to the top of your mat. Bring the left shin down, untuck the back toes. We're going to start with the hands on our hips. Again, if that back knee needs a little cushion, go for it. You can double up the mat under your back knee. I want us all to press into the back foot. Even though the toes are untucked, the more you press into your back foot, the less pressure is on your knee. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, as we set this up, we're just going to go a little slower today. As we set up this posture, notice if you're in more like a square type posture or if you're in a lunge. And I want you to be in a lunge. I also want your knee to land over your ankle. So if your knee is in front of your ankle, that's not going to be good for your knee. Walk your foot forward. Okay. You can always repeat this video to learn that one again. It's really important because we do this a lot. Let's spread your toes and inhale, arms rise. We're going to do a little dance here. So lift your heart. Exhale. Let's reach forward. Float the fingers down and then sweep the fingers on the mat behind you. Bow your head. Inhale, dance the arms up. Exhale, float them down and back. Head bows. One more, inhale, From here, we're gonna exhale, bring the hands down, and then tuck the back toes. We're pressing back, downward facing dog. Take about 3 breaths there, downward dog, chest back, hips back. Knees are bent or straight, fingers are spread. Let's take a breath in through your nose and sigh it out with sound. Ha. Inhale, left leg will rise any amount. Exhale, left foot starts to step forward. Maybe it gets halfway or all the way, but help it along with your hand. Right hand or right foot and knee come down. So again, you're in a lunge. Your tailbone is heavy. Your heart is lifted. And then we find one steady spot to gaze at out in front as we lift our arms. Tailbone heavy, heart rises. Let's flow. Let's exhale, sweep the head and fingers down. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, down and back. Inhale to rise up. And this one on the exhale, press your way back again. Downward facing dog. We have 5 breaths. This is your choice. Would you love to take 5 breaths in a child's pose? Go for it. Just go on down. Would you like to take 5 breaths in a table or stay right where you are? I'm going to take my 5 breaths and take off my sweater. Couple more breaths. So you're going to have on this series me offering different variations. And I want you to always know that the strongest choice is to actually listen to your body. It's not to stay in something that doesn't feel right. Nice. We're going to meet all the way down on our mats. So I want you to lower your weight all the way down onto your mats. And we're going to come into what's called Sphinx pose. For Sphinx pose, your elbows are directly under your shoulders. So check yourself out. Elbows are not wide. And they're not forward or back. They're directly under your shoulders. Your hands, I'll go forward for a sec. Your hands are also directly in front of your elbows. So they're not together and they're not wide. Everything is lined up. There's a lot of alignment happening here. Your fingers are spread. We're creating that muscle memory. So from here, I want us to press down with your pinky toes. Pinky toes press down. Can you imagine that your tailbone is like a zipper and it's zipping down the backs of your legs? Right away when that happens, it'll start to engage your abdominal muscles. So we want your core abdominals to feel activated here. Can you keep that going? So press down with pinky toes, zip the tailbone down the back legs, activate your core. Can you keep that going and soften your shoulders? So your shoulders might be up by your ears, drag them down. Can you imagine, a couple more steps here. I want you to imagine that you're sliding your mat backward with your forearms as your heart extends forward. Let's go through that checklist again. So your legs, your toes, your core, you're sliding the mat back, your heart is dragging itself forward, and then we're lengthening our neck. Shoulders soft, 2 breaths. Very active posture. Good. We're going to stay in this exact posture, except we're going to move our arms. So what we're going to do is everything's going to basically stay as it is, except your hands are going to come back by your chest. Hands are down by the chest. You're going to lower down a bit, obviously. Elbows hug in by the sides. Press down with pinky toes. Zip your tailbone down your legs. Next inhale, we're going to draw the heart a little more forward and up. It can just be an inch. It's lengthening. It's a cobra posture, cobra pose. Exhale back down. And then one more like that. Inhale, lengthen cobra. Exhale, this is your choice. Would you love a child's pose, a tabletop, or a downward dog? Let's take 3 breaths there. Child's pose, tabletop, or downward dog. Noticing the rhythm of your in and your out. Good. From here, we'll meet in our downward dog and start walking the hands back to meet your feet. So we're gonna land in our forward fold. Forward fold, let's hold on to opposite elbows and just let your head be so heavy. You can nod your head a little bit side to side. And while we're here, a few more breaths. Notice your big toes. I want you to root down. I'm taking my necklace off. Root down with the big toe mounds. Let's release our arms and start to roll your way up to stand. Take your time, no rush, no rush. Once we're standing, big shoulder rolls up, back, and down. Big shoulder rolls. Let's do a few more. Let's actually get the shoulder rolls into our knees, into our hips. So we're just like rolling and unraveling our whole body. I don't know if you can see the dog. Keep it going. Opposite direction shoulder rolls. I don't know if you can tell, but this is her typical posture for these classes. On her back, legs out wide. She's very relaxed. Okay, so we're here. My favorite posture, anybody that comes to my classes knows, favorite posture is Tadasana, mountain pose. So here we are, we're setting up. Toes, let's look down. Toes are spread. You're grounding through the big toe, just like with our hands. When we're grounding through our hands, we're grounding with the thumb and the index. With our feet, we're grounding with our big toe. So it's always coming in. From here, I want to make sure toes are facing forward. Heels are the teeniest bit wider than your toes. Okay. Palms face forward. This helps open your chest. This posture, mountain pose Tadasana, is actually very similar to that Sphinx, to this one. So I'm going to talk through some alignment here, but it's going to sound familiar because we've already just done it. Okay, so steady gaze, one spot out in front. Even as I talk through it, you can still have that steady gaze. Doesn't have to be at the screen. It could maybe be right above it. Your tailbone is going to be heavy. You're not tucking. You're just releasing tailbone down, and you're engaging your pelvic floor and your pelvic bone up in the front. It's energetic more than physical. From there, imagine you're spiraling your inner thighs, like spiral them in and back. That's because your big toes are grounding you. Front ribs hug a little bit in and back. Shoulders are down, chest is broad. And then imagine there's like a string at the top of your head, back of your neck stays long, rising up with the crown. Let's be here for a few breaths. Again, steady gaze. It's called a drishti gaze in yoga. This posture, Tadasana, I do believe is in all of the other postures. It's in our downward dog. It's in our plank pose. It's in our flow. It's in so many of the other postures, if not all. So making a blueprint of this posture is going to help you so much with the rest of the postures to come. Also, I would love for each of you to soften your posture halfway. So I don't want anybody to feel rigid or stuck. Thinking about a mountain, we have waterfalls, we have trees, we have wind, we have animals. So I want there to be flow and ease inside the foundation and steadiness and strength of your mountain pose. Keeping mountain pose as is, let's go ahead and inhale, arms rise to the sky. Exhale, bring the palms through prayer at your heart, and then fold forward and down. Let's inhale, we're going to do a halfway lift. So hands come to your shins or ankles, and then exhale, fold down. Are you still pressing into the big toes? Keep that going. Inhale, let's reverse swan dive. So arms rise out and up, palms to prayer up above. Exhale, prayer comes to your heart. And then one more like that. Keep Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach out wide. Exhale, swan dive down over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. It's just Tadasana folded in half. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, reverse swan dive again, all the way up. Palms to prayer heart. Exhale. Good. Shake it out, shake it out. I'm gonna do a moment of a time check, okay? All right, so for now, what we're gonna do, typically what we will do in these classes is put together all those pieces and do at least one round of sun salutation. It's really a lot of what we just did, one breath per motion. Today, we're not gonna do that. If you're yearning for it, you can have some time, hopefully after the class, to get some sun salutations in. We're gonna do a couple more standing postures and then start cooling it down. So let's start with legs wide. Legs wide on your mat. Let's have the right toes face the right edge of your mat. Arms reach out by the sides, or reach out from the sides. So notice how long your arms are, fingertip to fingertip, and I want your legs and feet to be about that wide as well. So adjust as need be. The right heel is going to line up with the back arch. Then we're going to bend through your right knee. Bend through your right knee. The knee does not want to go past the ankle, but eventually you want to be at about a 90-degree angle. We're going to bring the gaze past the right fingers, drishti gaze, and we're going to spend 5 breaths here in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Can we find bits of our Tadasana here? From the feet up. Can we broaden through the chest? Can we rise through the back of your neck? And then can we soften that halfway? Let's keep the legs like that. Toes are spread. Right palm is going to lift. And then lift your whole torso up and back. So you're lifting through the left side. You're opening through your heart. This is peaceful warrior. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing in our world right now? To all be peaceful warriors. Let's breathe into that. Inhale, and then exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, warrior 2. One more. Take the whole breath in. Notice any tendency to rush. Exhale the whole. Exhale, warrior 2. Straighten out both legs, toes face forward, palms to prayer. And then we'll switch sides. Left toes face the left edge of your mat. Right heel will angle back just a little bit. Arms reach out long. So again, check out foundation first, always. Left heel lines up with the right arch. Feet are as wide or almost as wide as your hands go. We're not reaching with the torso, we're stacked right on top of our hips, and then we're going to bend that left knee. If your left knee comes past your ankle, a little scooch of your foot forward. Okay, so we're in Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to look very intentionally past the left fingertips. You're going to tune me out if it's too much talking. And you're just going to trust the anchor and rhythm of your inhale and your exhale. Your inhale and your exhale. This tool that is always there to serve you, to bring you back to this moment. Let's flow up and back. So the left arm lifts up and back. Right fingers reach down, the right leg, peaceful warrior. It's an opening with the chest. Lifting, it's like lifting up and over like a half moon. And then we'll flow between the two, noticing any tendency to rush. The exhale brings you to warrior 2. The whole inhale, peaceful warrior. The whole exhale, warrior 2. One more round. And then very intentionally straightening out that left leg, toes face forward, palms meet at prayer, and then let's walk the feet towards each other. And let's shake it out. Good. One more breath cycle in our Tadasana as we take it with us, palms forward. Let's pause here for just a few moments. What would it feel like today? This is my invitation and challenge for you. What would it feel like today to bring this posture with us off the mat? This posture of being rooted, steady, strong, but also soft, not too tight in it, rooted down, rising up. So let's let the palms face the hips because it might feel weird walking down the sidewalk with the palms forward, but it won't feel weird to have the palms facing your hips. Shoulders can stay as they are, chest is broadening. Meeting your conversations, meeting your relationships, even meeting your dishwasher at the sink. Can you bring this posture with you throughout the day? See what that feels like for yourself. Let's go ahead and lower all the way down onto our backs on your mat. Coming down onto your backs. We're going to hug your knees in to start. Hug your knees in. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And actually, let's release your jaw. And let your jaw also rock a little bit side to side. Awesome. We're going to keep your right knee hugged in. So keep the right knee hugged in. You're going to extend the left leg long. You can bring your left leg all the way down to the mat. I want you to flex both feet. So I don't know if you could see, but I'm flexing the toes up. And I'm remembering my Tadasana because I'm hugging the inner thighs in, even as the legs are wide. My back of my neck is long, my shoulders are down. You could stay right here. We're here for 3 breaths, or you could lift your chest and draw your chest and head towards that right knee, keeping your neck long. And then softly lower down your chest if it's lifted. We're going to take your right knee across your body to your left. We're coming into a twist, and we'll reach the right arm out to the side. You can gaze past the right arm. On an exhale, draw your knees back up through center, and then we'll switch sides. Left knee will hug in, right leg reaches long. We're flexing the feet. You can gaze up towards the ceiling, and let's take a few breaths here. Oftentimes, towards the end of our practice, our mind can start wandering or judging or anticipating all of the other things coming up for your day. That is totally normal and natural, and it is our practice to notice that and to soften it and to not attach. Last few breaths, you could lift your chest, hug in and up. So we keep that anchor of the rhythm of our breath to bring us here in this moment. We'll lower down and take your twist. Left knee comes across, left arm reaches out, the palm is up. This practice of letting go of those extra thoughts is honestly one of the hardest things in life, if not the hardest. Because once we find that and we're in the moment always, I mean, I don't know what else there is but blitz there. This is a very challenging idea. And so we want to be soft with ourselves and have patience and trust the repetitive practice. On an exhale, roll back in towards your center. Let's hug both knees in again. And from here, we're going to move into happy baby. So for some of us, we might hold on to the shins. You're going to open your knees wide, and this is your happy baby. For some of you, you might hold on to the edges of your feet, just like a little baby, maybe a little rocking side to side. Let's release your jaw again. Repetition. Move your jaw a little side to side. And then we're going to bring the feet down to the mat, soles of your feet together, knees out wide, so you're in this like butterfly type position. Let's place the right palm on your belly, left palm on your heart, and let's close your eyes. And again, noticing the rise and the fall of your breathing, allowing it to caress your mind into this moment. Bring your awareness back to what feels good, what feels at ease. Maybe it's shifted, maybe it's the same thing. Even what feels simple. And then let's bring that with us as we find our way into our Shavasana. So for Shavasana, legs will be long. If you have music playing, you're going to want to pause that. Shavasana is a practice for surrender and stillness. If your back is happy with your legs long, arms down by the sides, palms up, stay there. If you'd rather have a little bolster or a pillow under your knees or your knees bent, feel free to do that. No need to notice breath at this point. We want to be really practicing stillness as much as possible. So the noticing of anything starts to surrender away. Easier said than done. If your mind starts chattering a lot or even a little, we can practice the mantra, not now. Not now. Start to notice again the rhythm of your breath, rise and fall. Give a little movement to your fingers and your toes. We're going to start to roll to the right side. And once you're on your side, let's pause there for a few breaths. Choose something to bring with you off the mat today. This practice is so much bigger than an hour on your mat. So choose an intention or a word or a thought to bring with you. And as you're ready, you'll rise up for a seated position. Eyes can stay closed, tall through the spine. Let your palms face up on your knees or your thighs. Mantra is another tool, just like yoga. It's really the yoga of sound. It's about quieting the extra thoughts in our mind and the chatter, the busyness. And it's about bringing yourself to intention, intention-based words and sounds. Ganesha symbolizes removing obstacles, clearing the path for a new year, a new practice. Shanti, Om Shanti is peace. So this practice of yoga is an ancient teaching, an ancient wisdom. And it reminds us to notice as well this vibration and energy that's always there. This vibration and energy is all around us. It is us. It connects us and interconnects us. In yoga, that vibration is the sound of Om and consciousness. And so let's honor this ancient teaching and connect to what's already there. We'll close together with one Om. Feel free to do this out loud or in your mind and heart. Let's take a breath in. Let our palms come together at prayer, heart center, bowing down your head slightly in gratitude for yourself, yourselves for showing up, for carving out the time, which is no easy task. Thank you all so, so much for being here. This is going to be a beautiful few weeks, 11 weeks together. Let's stay consistent with it and continue to show up. Om Shanti, peace, namaste. And for those of you live, I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks so much. Can't wait to see you again next week. If you're here and you want to say hi, stick around.